Everyone, and happy Monday. I hope you guys all had a wonderful weekend. And while it is Victoria Day today, it's actually still considered part of our weekend because it's a nice long weekend for you. But as per usual, I always post my video on Monday so you can get a jump start. Many of you are probably off today and want to get a jump start on the week ahead. So that's what this video is all about. And actually, it's a pretty lengthy video because I'm going to be taking you through the project logistics for this week, and we are going to be jumping into what is actually it is the last major assignment of the course, a major project of the course outside of the final project, and it's actually one of my most favorite projects. So I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. With that being said, I am going to take you through a pretty lengthy video now to describe what we're up to. Okay, so here's our weekly breakdown. As per usual, you've got your participation activity hyperlinked in there. We've got a nice Victoria Day holiday today. And on Tuesday or tomorrow, you have been scheduled to complete a reading on motivation theories and to answer these questions based on this reading. Now, this is really important that you do this work. The reason that it's really important to do this work is because you actually need this content in order to be successful on your project. Okay, so that's why I've actually paralleled both of these in the same week. I noticed that there was one project where you needed to have that content, but we had done it several weeks prior, and a lot of you were emailing saying, I don't remember doing this. Well, when we're doing this online, it can actually get really confusing like that. So this is hopefully going to be a lot easier for you. You do the reading, you complete the inquiry work, and then you use all of that and you apply it to the project. So hopefully that's going to help, okay? So make sure you do that first. You've got a work period for that on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, we roll out the final master project for Unit 2. Now, this is as well as a unit test. You're not going to have a test for this unit, so this is kind of lumped into that as well, okay? This project is called Motivation and Stress in the Workplace. It has been posted in Dropbox, and all of the details are there as well, but I'm going to take you through these details here. So it's really important that you listen to the rest of this video because that's where I'm actually going to teach what you're going to do for this project, and I'll clearly outline what my expectations are for you, okay? So I'm going to open up the project now. And again, all of this has been included in your post in Dropbox as well. So I mentioned last week that I wanted you guys to think about who you could interview for this project. And you guys filled in your participation activity and told me the person that you felt like you were going to interview for this project. A lot of you are choosing people within your own home, like your mom or dad. It has to be an adult working individual. So someone over the age of 18 who has a full-time job, more than likely is going to be an adult, someone who is working a full-time job and getting paid in that kind of manner. Okay, you are more than welcome to choose someone outside of the home, but any interviewing that you do has to be done through Zoom or Messenger or over the phone. Obviously, the idea here is that you are engaging in social distancing practices when you complete this assignment, okay? But that should not be a problem. Okay, so the objective of this assignment is to basically provide real-life examples as to how people motivate themselves and also handle both healthy and unhealthy levels of stress in the workplace, okay? This project is going to require you to interview one working adult within your own life. They have to have an occupation and they have to be earning a living. Like I said, you can interview this person face-to-face if they live within your own home, or you can interview this person over any technology medium of your choice if you want to choose someone who is not within your home. So for example, I know some students are choosing like their dance teachers or sports coaches, and that's totally fine. Okay. All right. In this project, you are going to be compiling your information in either a written report, a video, or a combination of the two. So what students have done in the past is typically they've done a combination of the two. They've provided a written report for most of the project, but then they have included a video of the interviewed process. So for example, I've had people last semester record the interview done between themselves and their father as an example. So the video is actually just of the two of them. I've had students provide voiceover interviews. So they do like a podcast recording, and that's fine as well if they prefer not to have their faces in the interview. Some parents or adults don't like that. So you can do that. And then I've also had students in the past just prefer to avoid the video or podcast or audio file altogether and just handwrite the answers and do sort of an interview question, interview answer response. But in that case, you'd have to be a scribe. So that would mean that you would have to handwrite all of the answers within the interview process and then submit that in your written document. I have had students do that. It's no problem, but it's just that extra step for you. So you may want to consider doing a podcast, an audio file or a video file, because it just takes away that extra step. But again, you can do this however you please and whatever is easiest for you. Okay. I have included, sorry, I'm just scrolling down here. Oh. I have included a little note here that says, please publish this video to a private YouTube channel and share this URL with me when you are finished. Typically, I find that video files are too large to share any other way, especially in Brightspace. So I have students that will end up sending me it separately, but I really want everything combined in the same submission. So the best advice that I would give you is that you just publish it. This is what I do with all of my Screencastify videos, is I just publish it to a private YouTube channel and then I upload it directly into the document. So if you were doing this and you get to the interview portion, you would say, please listen to the video or listen to the audio file and by clicking on this link. And it's all embedded within that same document. It makes my life a lot easier, but also it's just cleaner for you as a file submission for your project. So your report is a Google document, and you are going to include an introduction, your own reflections, the interview or the findings that you have received from the person that you've interviewed, a conclusion, and a bibliography. And what I've done to make this as easy as possible is I've gone through and I've broken down each individual component of what is required in each section. Now, this is a business report, so you are going to divide this report into sections. You should have a title page, and then the sections are going to be introduction, personal reflection, interview, and within those sections, you can even divide those into sections. So for example, if you're doing the personal reflection, you could have a title that says, what motivates you? And then underneath that title, you've got your answer, okay? And then the next section would be, personality testing. And within that section, you would reflect on what were some of the results of your personality testing when you did the Myers-Briggs test and what have you, the type test, and embed that into your reflection. I apologize if you're hearing that dinging. I should have turned off my phone. All right. So each of these sections have been broken down for you here. And the idea here is that you go through this and you kind of look at it like a checklist, like, okay, I've written about that, I've written about that, and I've written about that. Then you get to the interview section. Now, these are the questions that you have to ask the interviewee. Okay, so they've all been posted here for you. I'm not going to read them because I know that you can, but you can see there's quite a lot of questions. This is why I was saying you might want to do an audio file for the interview, just because it obviously is going to help you not have to write as much, but it's completely up to you. And I will completely accept without any, take away of any marks if you just are scribing what the person is writing and you include it as a written file as part of your report, okay? And then, of course, always make sure you thank the interviewee for their time. All right, the conclusion is probably going to be one of your favorite components because this is where you get to interpret the interview. Okay, so in this conclusion, I want you to summarize your overall findings and experience. How did the interview go? How do you feel adults handle the challenges of working in the 21st century? So I want you to do a little reflecting. What did the interviewee say about their experiences in the workforce? I had a lot of students last semester say, I never sat down and talked to my dad about what it's like on the job. And I didn't realize that he carries a lot of stress and that, he has a lot of worries. And I'm really thankful for the opportunity to kind of have this chance to talk to my dad about these types of things. So, you might find that you learn quite a lot from this interview and that you reflect on, what it's like as an adult differently. And then one of the questions I'm asking you is, what type of stresses do you think play the most significant role in the workplace today? Again, this is a really enlightening question to be asking whoever it is that you're talking to. And then, I do have you asking the interviewee some questions about how their workplace is managing COVID. So this, I think, will be really interesting for you to learn as well. So how has COVID impacted the workplace and what are ways employers can help minimize stress on employees during this time? I want you to reflect on this. What do you think employees or employers should be doing right now for their employees? Have you thought about that? From a business perspective, this is an incredibly unique time in the history of the world because employers have never had to deal with anything like this before. What should they be doing? So it's a cool question for you to reflect on as a potential leader. And then, of course, include a bibliography for any research that you do use in the preparation of this assignment. So, for example, you may go onto the internet and look for like, what are some unhealthy stress levels, or what are some ways in which businesses are handling COVID. You might try to do a little outside research just to add fuel to what you're writing. And if you do that, I would just ask that you include that in a bibliography. Okay. So that's pretty much the assignment there. Again, I love this assignment because it's not hard to do. It's very, very tangible. It does have you connect to the theories of motivation. So it's a great way for you to read the content and then apply it, which I think is the best way to learn. It's better than writing a unit test. But it's also fun because you get to actually sit down with someone or sit with someone over Zoom and just have a conversation. So again, if you have any questions about this project, I would be more than happy to answer them. Just send me an email. You do have the rest of this week and all of next week to work on this. So I've given you a week and a half. It's due on June 1st, which is not next Monday, but the following Monday. So you've got a lot of time, but the reason that I've given you this much time is because it's a major project and I think you really do need it. But again, you can get it all done this week and then have all next week off if you are that organized, right? And you can just then focus on your other courses. So whatever works best for you. I'm also always happy to review your work prior to the deadline. So if you want me to look over something and give you some feedback, I'd be happy to do that for you as well. Okay? So when this is due, we're going to be into June, and that's only a few weeks away from the end of the semester. So keep your eyes on the prize, you guys. I hope you have a fabulous week. Email me with any questions, and I will